For me, like a lot of people with painful and complicated relationships with their family of origin, Christmas is the hardest time of year. I've learned that the best way for me to make it out the other side to January and the spring beyond is to spend the day doing something unconventional. This year I cycled from my flat in North London to Richmond Park in the southwest. My first stop was Primrose Hill, which I'd last cycled to in November 2020, a few days fresh from a breakup. It had been a place where I told myself that everything was going to be okay. From Primrose Hill, I went to one of my favourite places in London, Covent Garden. I crossed over the river at Albert Bridge. I knew that the distance was going to be a challenge for me and there was a risk that I'd have to turn back. But at this point, I felt sure that I was going to make it. Nearly an hour later, I was locking up my bike for the first time that day. The next challenge was trudging through the mud to try and find the deer. I squinted at least a dozen tree stumps, thinking that they just might be deer, so by the time I was approaching the flying field, I was trying to not get my hopes up. But despite my fear, the deer were near. Sorry, couldn't resist. I'd hoped to get back home before it got dark, but as you can see, that didn't happen. As I'd set off from Richmond Park, tackling an uphill bit, the wind was in my face, and I was tired, and it felt like I could never find the right gear, and I was really, really grumpy. But barring spending nearly a month's rent on a taxi, this was my only way home. I broke up my return journey with a lot of stops, but only one landmark one. In the 90 minutes it took me to get home from Hyde Park, it definitely felt like I'd bitten off far more than I could chew. But with some rest and some walking, I was back before it hit 6 o'clock. I cannot tell you how thrilled I was when I got close enough to recognise streets that I cycled on regularly. There was probably a bit, or rather a lot, of willful ignorance when I set myself such a challenging ride, but I'm so glad that I did it. I often downplayed just how resilient I am, but on Christmas I gave myself full credit. I'd also had a lot of fun and seen my hometown in a different way. Christmas involves some element of stress for most people, close family ties or not. And there is something so freeing about being able to spend the day completely on your own terms. It was one of the best days I've ever had.